When we think about the Zen tradition, the Zen lineages, so Zen talks about tracing its roots from the Buddha. Okay, the Buddha was around in northern India around 500 BC. So Zen talks about how there's this tradition, or there's this lineage from the Buddha all the way up to the present time. And so moving from India through China into Japan. So there's an important figure, kind of like a legendary figure in Zen. His name is Bodhidharma, and he's kind of a mysterious figure. I've heard him described as like a will-o'-the-wisp. There's a haziness there. He might be a legend. He might have actually existed. But he's the figure that gets credited with kind of bringing the Zen tradition from India north into China. He's that figure. And it's interesting because in China at that time, when they say Bodhidharma enters into the country, Buddhism is already there. Different streams of Buddhism are already there, but they're very much based around like ritual practice, and like maybe reading the sutras or reading the texts, or chanting, or writing down the texts. And there's a really big emphasis on what's called merit, like accruing merit. And I guess you can think about merit in terms of, I've heard it described as kind of, well, you can think about, you want to plant wholesome seeds. The more wholesome actions that you do, more wholesome seeds that you kind of put into the universe, the more there will be wholesome like results or wholesome effects that come your way. So very much kind of tied to this notion of karma. Like if you do good things will happen to you. If you don't do good things, the reverse will happen. So there was really, at this time when Bodhidharma is kind of coming into the country, there's this focus on like accruing merit. So maybe not all that strong of an emphasis on having a practice, or like a meditating. The word Zen means meditation, so it's a tradition, obviously, which is really focusing or emphasizing like meditation and through your life, meditation. So when Bodhidharma comes to China, there's this pretty well-known interaction that he has with the emperor of the time, whose name was Emperor Wu. Okay, so he has this interaction. He receives this invitation to go talk to the emperor, and it's the emperor is talking to him. Basically, he says, I've commissioned all of these temples to be built. I've built all of these stupas, these kind of structures that are paying homage to the Buddha. And I've done, this good deed and that good deed. And he's really kind of laying out what he's done for Bodhidharma. And in that interaction, so he says, then how much merit have I accrued? And in the interaction, Bodhidharma says, no merit. No merit. You haven't accrued any merit. And so at that point, that it seems like it kind of shocks the emperor a little bit. And he kind of is like, well, who do you think you are? Or who is it that stands in front of me now? And Bodhidharma at that point, he says, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who this is here. And I mean, I think there's different ways of feeling into that exchange, but it seems like Bodhidharma is really trying to point the emperor towards something that isn't oriented around like accruing, getting a whole bunch of something, getting a whole bunch of merit, good, bad, this, that, rather than like, okay, I really need to build up all of this so that sometime down the line in the future, everything's going to be okay, or I'll reap the rewards of this. It almost feels like Bodhidharma's kind of pointing him to a place that is kind of beyond like analytical thinking in a way, or beyond past and present, past and future. And then when he says, well, who are you then? He says, I don't know. It's almost like pointing to that place that is beyond words, and which is very much what like Zen, it's pointing us to that place that actually, that's always here with us, that what it's what we are. It's always right here on our doorstep. And at the same time, when we really touch into our truth, there really actually isn't a whole lot you can say about it. Like the words can kind of point towards something, but that actual direct experience, embodying our true nature, that is something that we, our mind isn't really going to be in the picture for that. It's like it kind of then boxes things in, or it takes you out of it if you're in the mind place versus the being place. Yes. So he has this interesting interaction. And then from that point on, I guess Emperor Wu was in the south of the country, I believe. So then Bodhidharma then goes to central China at that point, and he practices up in the mountains around the Shaolin Temple area. And according to the texts, they talk about how he then meditates in a cave above kind of the Shaolin Temple area. He meditates for a number of years, and then at a certain point he goes down to the temple, to the monastery. And again, these practitioners, these monks, they're doing a lot of like copying the sutras, a lot of like scholarly research practices. And at that point, it's said that he really emphasizes meditation practice to them. And also that's the point where he really teaches some of the energy practices, which are geared towards really nourishing the body so that you can seriously do meditation practice, and things can unfold from there. So Bodhidharma has, so this figure, this kind of semi-legendary figure, he has, when you look into history, when they're trying to describe the Zen tradition, often they will say four of the verses that Bodhidharma talks about that are like attributed to him. The first one is that it's a special transmission outside the texts. So he's talking about like a lineage, or it's something, there's a transmission there. There's something that happens which is actually outside of the texts. And the second one is it's not dependent on words and letters. So what we're tapping into, what we're going for, is something that it's not going to be kind of bound by language, by words and letters. And then the third one is, he says, pointing directly to the human heart. Pointing directly to the human heart, like right now. So there's this emphasis on like direct experience of your truth. It's not something that we're going to get to in the future if we accrue enough good deeds or something like that. It's something that's always right here within us. It's what we are. It's always been what we are, and it always will be. It's just a matter of kind of turning the awareness towards it for long enough, and then familiarizing with it, and then living from that place of directly knowing what you are, your truth. And then the fourth, like kind of like gatha or phrase that's like associated with him, he says, knowing your true nature and becoming a Buddha. Knowing your true nature, becoming a Buddha. We, in Zen, we use the term Kensho. Kensho. Shinkai Roshi was really big on, he was like, the most important thing is Kensho. Second most important thing, Kensho. Third most important thing, Kensho. He used to say that in some of the morning talks. And so he's really pointing towards the importance of just really like looking within and really, really getting intimate, getting as intimate as you can with your true nature, with knowing, who you really are, not a concept, not something that's like an analytical understanding, but like directly knowing and being your true nature, who you really are, what you really are. So these four like gathas, they very much kind of get associated with Bodhidharma. And then, so from this point, this is like 500 AD, about 1,000 years after the Buddha, okay? Then after this point, we've got these different streams, these different schools of Zen practice that begin to happen through China. And then they come through Korea, they come through Japan. So like these different streams or these different expressions of Zen practice, different things are emphasized along the way. So we're about 1,500 years later. So over the centuries, there's these different practitioners, there's these different seekers, and passing on kind of these practices, these teachings, essentially ways of coming back to ways of recognizing and finding your true nature. So these different expressions, different focuses. And the Buddha used to talk about entering the stream. He said, when you really enter into the world of enlightenment It's like entering into a stream. Maybe for a decent part of our life, where we kind of feel like we're in this place where we're sitting on the riverbank, where we're kind of watching like life go by. But he's saying, actually, when we engage with our practice, when we let things go, when we really engage and pour ourselves into our practice and into the universe, then actually we enter into this stream. We come back to our true place, our true home. This stream is always flowing every moment. It's just a matter of like getting into that stream and living then as truly as we can from that flowing stream that we are, that the universe is. We're not apart. We are the universe. That's us. So he has this kind of image of entering the stream. So I think it's interesting just to sometimes look at like the history of the tradition and what's emphasized and how it's different from maybe other schools. And yeah, just this real emphasis that is placed on actually practicing, like having a meditation practice in your life in whatever way that manifests. It can be a sitting practice. It can be a movement practice. You can do a walking practice, just how to bring presence and awareness into your life in a way that really is right for you. It really fits, and it allows you to live your life and at the same time walk this path that is more and more truly aligned with like blending with the universe, being in that river. So how to really live from your true nature. Really live it out. So we're going to do a little bit of meditation practice here together. It's a wonderful way when you've got a community, the energy can really build just through each person's presence, through you just settling into your true place the best you can, letting the thoughts, the feelings arise and pass, whatever needs to flow through, just making space for that to do so, to flow through, to release. The more you can do that, the more you help everybody around you. You help everybody in the room to be with whatever's coming up for them. So it's about us on one hand, but it's also about something much bigger than us.